For this image, I did Joseph from Group D. So the first question is, how effectively does the artist use elements and principles of design, photography in composing the image? I would say for this, one of the main elements is lighting. During the day, this is a very busy intersection, downtown Lexington, and he captured which areas are lit up and which aren't. Um, I say there is contrast. There's also contrast between the light in the center with the white building, uh, the square, and the light in the dark from the buildings on the side and the bridge. Other elements I would say also go with this are line. As you can see, there's a lot of lines in this image from the top of the buildings to even the street lines, the street, and even the lights, the stop lights. Another element I would say would be shape. There is a lot of shapes in this. I would say there's a repetitive shape with the windows that sticks out the most to me. Space would also be another element. For this image, Joseph did a good job with space, but there is a little bit left over above the square with the sky that he could have focused more on the buildings or other things he could have done with it. Texture. There's a lot of texture in this too, from the light reflecting on the street, which looks very, very smooth compared to the sidewalk beside it, which looks a bit rugged. Also, the lit up buildings in the middle underneath this square where Urban Outfitters are, you can see how the buildings are nice and smooth and made out of bricks. Color is also another one. There is a lot of colors. There's only a couple colors, but there's a lot of it, which I think I like in this image. He also tries to use rule of thirds, but the last element I would say would most likely be history. Because, as I said with shapes, the windows, you can see how it's sort of like there's historic buildings instead of like the futuristic. So that really expresses the image. Another question is, what is this image about? I'd say the image seems to be about the intersection at night with no activity, but it goes into depth with the elements of photography, which I think is very interesting. What would you change about the image? I would shoot the image a little more to the left, or even zoom in a little bit more. I would make it to where the image is out of focus and the lights are the primary of the image. I think that'd be interesting. I would also try to make it a little bit more specific so that you can tell what it's really symbolizing. You can do this by adding his friends or even focusing on an object to represent a story. What could use improvement within the image / composition? I would try not to get the white signs in the picture so you can focus more on the intersection or buildings, because those white glares really kind of take away from the image and all the beautiful colors at night. Also, I would go with different angles rather being walking in more, or just try to take the sky down a bit so you can focus more.